this hour. And we're going to be talking about technology. I mean, it is Tech Africa. We have to talk about technology. And looking at technology that continues to transform every facet of our lives. Education is also on the cusp of a revolution. The integration of AI into the classroom is not just a passing trend, rather it is a shift that will define both the future of learning and the workforce. At the forefront of this shift, it's a progressive institution that is dedicated to equipping students with the skills they need to thrive. In an AI-driven world. Centennial School has taken on the challenge of introducing learners to the ever-evolving technological advancements and preparing students for the working world by including AI as a central point of its curriculum. Joining us now on the line is my guest, Shaun Fuchs, who is a Centennial School founder. Good morning, Shaun.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like I'm mispronouncing your surname. How do you pronounce it?
Fuchs. So think of books with an F. Fuchs.
Fuchs. Okay, I said Fuchs, so I wasn't that far behind. Okay, I want to talk about just the benefit of having AI in our education today.
Yeah. So one of the challenges that we have in education is that our education system has not changed since the last century, and it was originally designed on the first industrial revolution in the 1800s, and we're now on the fifth industrial revolution with artificial intelligence as a dominant factor. And what we're trying to do is see how do we future-proof our students within a curriculum and a system that is antiquated and we derive from the last century. So that's one of the biggest challenges, and that for me was really why I founded Centennial Schools, so that we could do as much as possible to prepare our students for 85% of the jobs that right now do not exist. So I think that's just an important background to give. And then you've got the challenge of artificial intelligence coming on, which no one expected it to, in leaps and bounds, progress at the rate that it has. Last year, January, we weren't even talking about it. ChatGPT had sort of, through OpenAI, had sort of just kind of come out. And now it's, you will see AI in almost any business that's really focused on kind of the 21st century, and it's there. It's on our phones. It's on our web browsers. It's on almost everything that we're doing. You send a WhatsApp, you've got artificial intelligence on the top if you want to ask a question.
I mean, no one could have ever also thought, I think there is going to be a pandemic. Human beings don't think like that. We know there's such a thing as pandemics, but we don't think like that. Like, we're not wired to have thoughts like that, and then the pandemic came. Then it was okay, so then what do we do? And then the only unifying thing, which had already started doing, was technology. It's just that now when we were forced to stay away from each other, we're like, we can't function without one another. So technology came in, and it just AI just came and just shifted everything. I want to go back to what you said a bit earlier on about jobs that don't exist. What do you predict that those will be, if you have those predictions?
I think there's, my view is there's going to be quite a strong uptake in sort of your blue collar sort of jobs. So certainly the skills that people need in the basic of electricians, plumbers, artisans, I think there's going to be quite a strong increase in that. What I do see that's going to happen is in jobs that we can use generative AI, that we can ask questions, they can give us information. It's going to pull from so many sources that as a human being would take us weeks to try and get that. I think those are the jobs that are really going to change significantly. So a very good example that comes to mind is legal. If I want to draw up a contract now between myself and a tenant renting my apartment, I would zap it into one of the AI models, and you're probably going to get a pretty good lease that's going to come out. You know, and often people will say, well, you can't just rely on it. You can't. But that's one of the skill sets that we teach our students now at school, you know, at Centennial Schools. We teach them use artificial intelligence, use chat GPT, but use of artificial intelligence is not just copy and paste. You need to be able to interpret. You need to be able to look at the reliability of the information. So those are skills that you need to bring in. And that, again, would apply, if you think about it, into the legal profession as well.
Okay, I'm actually maybe going to ask this for myself as well, because I'm like, they are so lucky they've got ChatGPT now in varsity, because we were forced. And remember, we also just warned against plagiarism, where we had Google. We could just go to Google and you could find those written essays or papers already that were there by other scholars as well. But then the school used to teach us against plagiarism, and that was a huge punishment. How have the rules shifted now, especially with ChatGPT?
So you do pick up, as a teacher, you pick up whether that's students, but you also understand the ability of your students. But you pick up you do pick up in terms of the tone, the language being used, etc., whether it is being used for ChatGPT. But I do want to make a point that very often people just associate AI coming in for the students. One of the biggest helpers for teachers is artificial intelligence, where teachers can use AI as a tool to assist them in teaching and actually improving their teaching methodologies.
Okay, so there are allowances, like there is room for things such as ChatGPT, but so it's not like if I'm busy using ChatGPT, I'm like, oh my God, my teacher cannot find out that I just used. You know, you're not using it in private. There are schools that allow for that.
Yeah, there certainly are, and you know, again, it's like with everything. You need to allow for some. You need to educate around ethical responsibilities, don't you? Because you don't want just everyone kind of using it on a copy-paste basis. That's not what education is. But what I can do is I can use it to draw through many different sources. I can use it for help me in interpreting certain things, to identify bias. So the skill set that I can use it is so important. And again, if you go back to, I was educated in the 80s. So I remember at a point in the late 80s when they were bringing out the calculator. So we no longer use logbooks or whatever. The calculator was coming into maths. And many maths teachers and parents were, this is it, this is the end. Our children are not going to be
able to calculate
properly, they're not going to be able to cope. How can they not calculate arithmetics? If you think about it, the level that a calculator has taken mathematics to, there is no way you could have taken it to that level if you had not introduced the calculator. And those, obviously, calculations have improved technology, have improved business. There's so many things that spin off from that. So, again, we're at that point where we're bringing in AI. We really don't know too much about it. And as you rightly said earlier, human beings don't like change. We when we're confronted with change, we step back, we become more conservative. You study cultural anthropology, you see that. So now when you're confronted with this, many people are we're not interested, we're not going to touch it. I don't think that's the right approach, not in education. And certainly at Centennial Schools, we have taken a very progressive but a very ethical approach to how we're using artificial intelligence with our teachers and with our students.
Where is the school based?
We're based in Sandton, in Sunninghill, in the first campus. So we use technology very strongly. If you talk most of your listeners, if you ask them when did they last punch a piece of paper and stick it in a file with file dividers, they'll be having a chuckle because they don't